Good day, everyone. I'm Luis Tagak, one of the reporters for Group 6. I am here with my co-reporter, Cyrus Senan, and we're here to discuss how to conserve and protect the environment while understanding the advantages of elements, compounds, and how it is harmful to us and the environment. Environmental preservation and protection. Save the environment. We frequently overlook how much nature, which includes all living things and all the forces that shape the natural world, including the weather, mountains, oceans, and landscapes, depend on us. Even city dwellers in the contemporary skyscrapers require nature's gifts of air to breathe, water to drink, and food to consume in order to survive. While ready to eat foods and bottled water are available in supermarkets, they are not made there. Some fruits and vegetables, for instance, can only be grown in tropical regions and must travel the world in chilled shipping containers to reach your local store at the perfect time of ripeness. Since we do not yet have the technology to produce significant quantities of water in a laboratory, all drinking water ultimately originates from a natural source. Here's a quote. The environment must be maintained in order to protect the survival of life in the future. Understanding the elements and compounds used at home and community. Because our bodies contain the alleged bulk, elements are significant. These elements, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, are responsible for our body's healthy functioning as a result of chemical processes. Compounds, in contrast, are necessary since we depend on them for things like food and water to survive. Compounds and elements are both necessary to sustain life as we know it. And having a grasp of these two influences our ability to study significantly. Finding the specific ingredient or molecule utilized will be helpful.
How are elements defined? It cannot be divided into smaller parts or made simpler. It's called singular subunits. A substance is also an element. You can identify an element by its particular atomic number, and the periodic table is used to organize it because it is single or because it includes two or more particles joining forces. It will exist. It is made up of an atom-based pure material. Other examples of elements are aluminum, neon, silicon, and magnesium. How about when it comes to compounds? It is produced by mixing two or more substances that bind together and exert a strong force on one another, an integral component of our existence and development. Water, sugar, salt, soap, and many more substances are examples of compounds because it is made up of combination of hydrogen and oxygen atoms, and the perfect example is water. Water is a great illustration of a compound. The benefit of using symbols rather than elements or compound names is the use of symbols improves global scientific communications. Equations and data can be simplified and made more brief by using symbols. Scientists use symbols to write equations rather than using full names. Land pollution. Every animal can survive in a variety of conditions. This explains why you only encounter certain animals in particular habitats. The size of the habitats necessary for animals to survive changes as a result of global climate change, which is a result of waste. Polar bears and other animals are driven to extinction in their attempts to migrate away from shrinking habitats. Water pollution. Almost all waste that isn't disposed in landfills or other facilities ends up in the ocean or other bodies of water. The water becomes contaminated and slowly loses its ability to support life as it decomposes into the ocean. This process increases the water's toxicity, rendering fresh water unfit for human consumption, and any body of water hazardous for swimming in. Since water is a wonderful solvent and travels, pollutants can contaminate other water sources since they are difficult to remove from the area.
Finally, radiation and hazardous materials. Because of rigorous rules, most people don't think about the risk of associated with radioactive waste. Yet incorrect handling can result in radiation poisoning in locations close to the waste. If businesses fail to properly dispose of their garbage through an industrial disposal provider capable of handling their waste, even other substances that prove toxic to humans may end up in the surrounding environment.
And we are Group 6, and thank you for listening.